Okay.
On to the next station, P. What's so now we know Google has achieved supremacy. What do we do now?
Well, that's the thing. It was an extremely difficult thing to achieve, and I mean, it probably took millions of dollars for them and hours of researchers just hammering down work and like running simulations, writing algorithms, all those things. It's just it's really strenuous. It's almost like I would say machine learning and artificial intelligence are more developed right now, or at least because they use they use regular computers to achieve those models. But it's so early stage. You know, it's so early stage. This type of technology, it's like literally has just been achieved. It's like imagine trying to use, I don't know. There's nothing comparable to a computer before an actual computer other than the human brain. I like the human brain and the ability to perform calculations with your like own mind. But I think when we were able to finally create something that can do calculations faster than like the smartest mathematician, I think that was probably in the 1940s with the Enigma machine. Have you ever watched the movie The Imitation Game?
I did not. I did
No.
not. The
Interesting.
imitation
So,
game.
yeah, great movie. Really, really great movie. Benedict Cumberbatch, he basically he plays Alan Turing, and Alan Turing's really
Famous, yeah.
famous because of the
Machine.
Turing
Turing
test,
machine.
the Turing machine. Oh yeah, that was the other name for it was the Enigma machine, but the Turing machine was basically to crack I believe the German Enigma, their like encoded secret messaging
Hmm.
system.
Okay.
Yeah. So that whole movie revolves around that, the World War II era. But basically, it was to build that first real computer, and it was a huge thing. It was like a box the size of my room, and my room is like, I don't know. I mean, imagine something like that can legitimately fill your whole kitchen.
I mean, I don't know, P. Your room's
You
pretty
know?
small. It's not that big. It's
All
the
right,
size
thanks,
of my
bro.
laptop, I think.
No, no, no,
All right. So
how can I? Like it's like a
yeah,
small
yeah.
shed, or
Okay,
it
yeah.
would be
It's
bigger than
it's
a
the
small
size of a
shed.
giant. It's a giant cube, bigger than yourself. Got it.
Yeah, and it had a lot of moving bits and pieces. But Alan Turing, who is really famous because he had this Turing test, which basically says that the first artificial intelligence won't be achieved, or like we won't be able to really like achieve an artificial intelligence until we can completely not distinguish it from a regular human in speech. So basically what that means is let's say I have one like game let's imagine a game show scenario right now where I have myself standing behind a curtain and then three quote unquote people. In reality, it's only two people and one AI computer that has natural language processing and all those things, and it can talk to me. The game here is we've passed the Turing test with our computer with our AI. If I am unable to distinguish that computer from the two other human contestants.
I mean, what if one of the contestants was like Stephen Hawking and the other one was Alexa from Amazon? It would be hard to
Well,
distinguish the two.
you can't really have conversations with Alexa. It's more like you tell Alexa something and she does it. You can't really talk about, I don't know, Friedrich Nietzsche
I mean, you could
about
ask her about it. And
with
does
Alexa.
Alexa have like a
Yeah, and
male
she'll
name?
scour the
Like, does
internet.
Alexa have a male name?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
That's
Alexa, give her a middle name right now if you
I
want.
didn't say middle name. I said male. Like, does she have
Oh,
yeah,
male
like
name? I guess Alex. Are you trying to have me stroke your ego right now?
no. I'm wondering like because yeah, I mean, this is completely irrelevant, but recently in a video game, Super Smash Brothers, they released a new DLC character, and it has a male and female, and the female's name is Alex, and the male's name is Steve. And I'm wondering, like, does Alexa have like a Steve counterpart? Like, is there like a guy version? Like, can you just turn on male voice and it'll be like,
I have no idea.
or did they just go with girl because they're like,
I don't
whatever?
know, man. I don't know. Why did they go with Siri?
Because they're stupid. It's a stupid name.
Why did they go with Cortana?
Cortana is cool.
Okay, so back to what we were talking about. Alan Turing was the first person that really made him a computer, like a sophisticated computer, and that thing was enormous, just like today's quantum computers are. We didn't really get to a point that we can utilize computers that could legitimately be, I don't want to even say mass produced, but used by the general public until 60 years later, or 50 years later, the 90s. That's when the real like PC like revolution began. Like, because Apple and Microsoft, they tried to really make it happen, but they were super expensive. Like the Macintosh 1 or the Apple 2, I don't remember those names, but like all in the 80s, all those PCs, they were so expensive and nobody wanted to buy them. But then, like Apple and Microsoft started incorporating less expensive parts, and Intel became a huge conglomerate because they were manufacturing the chips. And so we were able to have computers a lot easier and a lot cheaper because of that. So now you can get a computer. I mean, your phone is a computer, essentially. I mean, we got someone to the moon with the processing power of what people take for granted today, which is their iPhone.
Yeah, that's true.
It's totally true. Like in 1969, Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, all those fine chaps, they got to the moon with basically what your iPhone can do nowadays. So do not take it for granted, Alex. I'm telling you, it's an amazing place where we are today.
Okay, so I'll create my winning Nobel Prize app, Rocket to the Moon, with my iPhone.
Yeah. So my point is, where we are right now is like where Alan Turing was in the 40s with quantum. We are there, except with quantum computers. So I don't really.
We just started, essentially.
We just started, man. It's like it is so in its infancy, and we barely understand how this like could even look like. It is very much can look totally different than what our computers look like right now.
So Turing was in the 30s, 40s, so let's say 1930, and it took us 90 years to reach here. So if we use that logic, assuming progress is linear, which it's not, it's exponential. Yeah. But if it was linear, then quantum mechanics and quantum computing will reach an extremely much higher peak in 90 years. That's 2110.
Or about 80 years, just about.
All right.
We'll say, or I would say more. Using that linear model, I would say closer to like 75 years, because quantum supremacy was achieved almost 2 years ago by Google. And so, like we'll say like 75 to 80 years, yeah.
All right. I'll see you in
Which would basically be 2100.
Yeah, I'll see you in the 22nd century.
I mean, look, man, if I'm still alive and by then and I have a quantum computer at my disposal, I would be a pretty happy person, because talking about it right now it's crazy what these things look like. I'm telling you, like, these things are as big as, like, imagine your car's engine.
Yeah.
They're huge. It's a chandelier.
Won't it be like really funny and comical that in like 50 years, quantum computers will be like laptops and everyone will buy them because they'll be really cheap?
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, this stuff, like, over time, the technology gets better and it gets cheaper. And, yeah, people will literally start buying these things.
And taking it for granted and wasting it for TikTok videos and
yeah, man, to do all those little TikTok dances, everyone's gonna start using quantum computers.
Yeah, all of which will now be processed a lot faster because it's a quantum computer, and it's all downhill from there. But until then, we'll enjoy.
Listen, Alex, I don't know, man, but don't knock TikTok dances until you try them, bro.
No, I'll knock him. I'll push him to the ground and keep him there.
Yeah. So I'd really love to see where it progresses. But
we're talking about a lot about this quantum stuff and this idea of like having several answers at the same time. This sounds a lot like, relatively speaking, like a human. Like the ability to have multiple thoughts at the same time, thoughts in air quotes, like multiple answers essentially to whatever
Yep.
questions it's asking. You think we'll reach a time where, if you had the choice to put your brain into a quantum supercomputer when you're like 100, would you do it?
Totally.
Yeah, I was gonna say me too.
I would absolutely, man. Well, let's think of it like this. There is a natural order to things. There are some natural laws of physics that everything follows. So it doesn't surprise me at all, especially because our brains are literally leveraging
Computers.
electrical impulses. Yeah, our brains are just squishy computers. They process things a lot more complex, but not as fast as silicon because we are gray matter and, I don't know, skin and bones and teeth. But
Yeah, silicon. Silicon is basically the more sophisticated carbon, which we're
yeah,
made of.
you could say it is. I mean, it's just that it's a lot more conductive to electricity and it has thermal conductive property. But anyways, we're not like we're not the perfect material for electricity to travel through, especially because when you get struck by lightning, you don't really survive most of the time.
Some people do.
Yeah, sure. Benjamin Franklin. He didn't. That's right. He had that key and kite and stuff.
Yeah, he thought one step ahead.
Yeah. So I would totally put my brain on it. And that's why, yeah, I mean, it makes sense, like I said, that this stuff acts in a similar way because physics doesn't change no matter the medium. All right, well, like the laws that it operates by doesn't change. It's just that the results you get do.
Okay. All right. Tangent aside, so we were talking about Alan Turing. What were you gonna say? What's the
No.
next?
I already mentioned to you basically. It's just that where we are with quantum computing now, I was trying to
Oh, okay. You're trying to
explain.
contextualize where we are with it.
Yeah.
All right.
We talked about how linearly it would take 75 to 80 years. Now let's be more realistic and we'll say exponential growth in technology. That was horrible. An exponential growth in technology advancement, which
Probably
is what
30 to
we've seen.
50 years.
Yeah. I would bet my money that I'll have a quantum computer at my disposal probably by the quote unquote retirement age of 65.
So you're going to be 21, so 40 45 years roughly.
Yeah. I would say 45 to 50 instead of 75. That would be pretty interesting. And that's why I also believe we can get to places like the moon or outer solar system faster.